So let's talk about recursion now. Now, when we talk about basic introduction to the recursion, recursion is actually divided into three concepts. Okay, so you need to understand three concepts of recursion. So whenever you are writing a function that is a recursive one, you need a base case, or we say terminating case. Second thing we need is a small problem. We'll be discussing about them one by one. And third is about processing logic. So a particular recursion function is consist of three things: base case, small problem, and processing logic. So when we talk about our simple example of printing, like if I just want to print 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in my output, so what was the recursion calls? What exactly the recursion calls was? So first we call F5. This is the very first thing that we are calling from main method. Now after F5, we call F5 actually calls F4, then it calls F3. So what exactly we are doing? We are actually converting our large problem into small problem. So we just needed to show in output 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, this is the desired output. Now we need to break down our large problem, that is n. We have to divide n into n minus 1. Just a second. We have to divide this n into n minus 1. So that becomes a small problem. Okay, that becomes a small problem. We have to print n. In order to print n, we have to decrease n by 1. Okay, so that's why we are doing n minus 1, then n minus. So it is n here, then we do n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3, and so on. So this becomes like a series. Okay, so first we have n, then it is divided into small problem. So this is the small problem. Now, this is the base case, or we say terminating case. Whenever we are using recursion, we need to make sure that once our objective is achieved, or at a particular moment, at a particular time, we have to stop the calls. Okay, it should not be like that. It is going to execute infinitely. Okay, so obviously recursion will not work execute infinitely, because there is an error, stack overflow error, whenever recursion limit is reached. So we need a base case to terminate the calls. So once n becomes 0, it returns. So this is the base case or the terminating case. Right now the processing logic is nothing, just to print the value of n. This is my processing logic in this particular program. So if we divide everything, so it is the base case or terminating case. Second thing is our processing logic. Processing logic is right now just to print the value, and this is the small problem. Small problem simply means that we are dividing our large problem into small problem. Okay, and whenever we say small problem, it simply means that if you have to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5 to 1, anything you want to print, we just need to do only one thing, that we have to divide our large problem into small problem. So I hope it is simply clear to you what exactly recursion is. A function is calling itself, and every time it calls itself, it do some changes, like either it decrease the value of n, or it increase the value of n, or do any changes on your particular variable. So this is the simple concept of recursion. So in order to understand recursion, we are going to talk about this factorial program, like how to find out factorial using recursion. So when we talk about factorial, what exactly a factorial is? If I say I have to find out the factorial of 5. So what is the factorial of 5? It is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So whatever the answer is, that is the factorial of 5. Simple enough. Now, the thing that you have to find out is the factorial of a number. It's a large problem. That is a large problem. So that's why you need to break down this large problem into small problem. So I can say that if someone is asking me to find out the factorial of n, so I can say n factorial is the large problem, and to find out the proper solution, I will say it becomes small problem. What exactly the small problem is, that you simply multiply 1 into 2 into 3 into till n minus 1 multiply n. So this is what my large problem is, and this is the breakdown of the problem. So what becomes the formula for n factorial? It becomes, so if you find out the factorial of n minus 1, if we find out the factorial of n minus 1 and multiply it with n, so I can say this is the small problem. Okay, this is the small problem for our large problem. So large problem was n factorial, and this is the small problem. It is actually, this equation is actually known as a recurrence relation. Okay, this equation is known as recurrence relation or recurrence equation. So if you drive the smaller problem, so you can drive the larger problem easily. All right. So let's take one example of a small number. Suppose if I ask you to find out the factorial of a number, let's take example of factorial of n you have to find out, and factorial of n minus 1 into n is our small problem. Now let's take example of 2, that you have to calculate factorial of 2. So it becomes factorial of 2 minus 1 into 2. So I can say 2 minus 1 is 1 into 2. Okay, that is 2. Now after that n becomes 1. So I will write factorial of 1 I have to find out. So that is fact 1 minus 1 into 1. So 1 minus 1, 0. 0 into 1, 0. Now, if you will go further, like if you will try to find out the factorial of 0, okay, if you will try to find out the factorial of 0, it becomes minus 1. So every time you will multiply something with 0, it becomes 0 at the end. So that's where we need a base case. Here we need a base case or a terminating case, that we don't want to go further. So basically now we can see, if we try to find out the factorial of a number, we just have to break down the problem like this. All right. So we just need to put the termination condition when fact 0 is arrived, and now till the number is positive, we are just going to calculate only for the positive numbers. So this is very simple now. So if you have to find out the factorial of 2, this is what you have to do in each call. Let's write down the function for it. So function, the code will go something like this, that int f int n. Now there will be one base case, one terminating case, and the terminating case here will be that if n becomes 0, we don't want to go further. We will simply return 0. All right. Otherwise, I am going to return function n minus 1 into n. So this is going to be our logic. Okay. So if this is the logic, let's try to understand this logic step by step. What will be the stack of our particular function? So first of all, what we are going to do, we are going to pass f5. I'm simply going to pass f5. So this is the first entry of your stack. Now f5 calls f4. Now once f5 calls f4, there is one more thing, that is multiplied with n. So it means it is multiplied by 4. Okay, so it is right now. In fact, I will say once you call F5, it checks that if n is double equals to 0, return 0. It is not going to work because n is 5. So it becomes F4 into 5. It will be F4 into 5, not F4 into 4. So it becomes F4 into 5 because right now n is 5. Now F4 will call F3. So it becomes F3 into 5. Sorry, F3 into 4. Then it becomes F3 becomes F2 multiplied by 3. Then F1 multiplied by 2. And now F0 will be our terminating case. Okay, that returns 1. Now try to understand what exactly is going to happen. So now we can see if n is double equals to 0, we are going to return 1, not 0. Okay, we are going to return 1. Just look at this now very carefully. Right now we are here in our stack F0. So F0 returns 1. So this F1 returns 1. So it becomes 1 into 2, that is 2. This thing will be returned to the above call. Now instead of, so it means when F2 was called, F2 actually returned 2. So it means it becomes 2 into 3, that becomes 6. Now 6 will be returned to the upper one. So F3 will be replaced by 6. So that becomes 6 into 4. Now 24 will be returned to this one, F4 into 5. So F4 is being replaced by 24. So that becomes 24 into 5 and that becomes 120. And finally 120 will be returned to this F5 and F5 will at the end returns 120 as your answer. I hope you are able to understand the thing till here, that how exactly recursion is working. All right. So this is how recursion is going to work. So first you need to see that every time we call the function, it becomes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So whatever things is being returned from the previous call will be returned back to the previous call. Okay. So if F1 called F0, so whatever F0 will return will be received by F1 and multiplied by your n. So this is how this program is going to work. Now let's try to execute this. So this is the factorial program. And now we have one function, static int fact. We are going to pass n. And now we can say that if n becomes 0, then simply return 1. Otherwise, return fact n minus 1 into n. That's it. So this is going to be the working of factorial program, and let's try to execute it using 5. In return, you will get some result. So let's print the result variable here and check the output. So you can see here the output is 120, and exactly in the same way it has worked as I told you. So you just need to understand the working of call stack for the particular basic example. Later on, we'll be having some difficult programs, and those programs will work exactly in the same manner. So this was the factorial of a number using recursion.